Hello everyone, my name is Anthony, aka Tono14, and I am bringing you week 1 of the UBA, or the United Battling Association, where I go up against Poke Primer coach of the Pittsburgh Popplios. If you missed my draft analysis video, I will leave the link in the description down below. But just to get into this, just to give a brief overview of my team, not mean to jump directly into things. A little bit strapped for time as I have other league matches and stuff in real life stuff to do, but just to give you a brief rundown of my opponent's team. Starting off, he has that Jirachi, can run on both tool sets, Choice Scarf, Mixed Lore, can be supporter, access to U-turn, can really mess with my team with Iron Head flinches or any random drops from like Zen Headbutt or Psychic or any of that sort of scenario. Staraptor, another threatening Pokemon, Choice Scarf, Reckless Brave Bird, Reckless Double Edge, access to close combat, can U-turn. Very powerful Pokemon that I really have to prepare for, simply because it can do a number to my team. Torrent Greninja, it's not really a threat without Protein, but it's still very fast. It's still a very solid hard hitter. I have to be aware of Hydro Pump, Ice Beam. It could be setting up Toxic Spikes, which can be an issue for my team if I don't get my Mega Sableye Mega'd already. But it's still a nuisance in of itself. He has that Arcanine, a very good, capable Pokemon of running defensive with Morning Sun, can run an offensive set with Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, good support move pool with Will-O-Wisp and Morning Sun. Good, has priority with extreme speed, so I have to be wary if he does bring offensive Arcanine, though I'm probably predicting him to bring defensive in my opinion. He has that Aromatisse, good solid fairy type, Wish Passer, Cleric with Aromatherapy, good solid defensive typing with the fairy with Mono Fairy. Can be a bit passive at times, and I can hopefully look to exploit that in my matchup. Has that Armaldo, Rapid Spinner. I don't really see it being much of an issue to my team. I have multiple ways of dealing with Armaldo, whether it be crippling it with a burn. It does get access to priority with Aqua Jet, access to knockoff, things like that. Mega Venusaur, one of the best Pokemon in the draft format, simply because it has that solid typing, thick fat neutralizing two of its weaknesses. Can run both a defensive or an offensive set if he wants to. Access to knockoff, can run physical with Earthquakes. So it's a really mixed bag here. It can also put my Mon to sleep with Sleep Powder, because I'm not bringing Mungus this week, so might be an issue, but you'll see what I have in store for that Mega Venusaur. Zygarde, not a bad Pokemon per se, but it can Dragon Dance, it can Coil, it can paralyze things with Glare, gets access to priority with extreme speed. It can be a nuisance if I let it set up for free. I honestly don't see it coming, but I can't really predict what my opponent might bring. Porygon 2, nice as a bulky Pokemon, access to recover, can paralyze with Thunder Wave, run Discharge, Toxic. Can be a very all-around nuisance to my team, but I feel as though I can overpower it with the combination of my Wall Breakers instead of Mon, so I don't think it's going to be that huge of an issue, but I do see it coming. And that has Striker, fast electric type, access to your Lightning Rod or Sap Sipper to wear down to counteract either my Electivire or my Amoonguss, so I can't put them to sleep. Fast hard hitter with Thunderbolt, Overheat, Volt Switch, Hidden Power, Overheat. So it's not the strongest of Pokemon, but it still can be a nuisance that I let it have its way. And last but not least, you have the Blade. A good spin blocker, can be a Sword Stance setup sweeper, has good bulk with that Eviolite. Priority with Shadow Sneak, can Iron Head, can Gyro Ball, can do a bunch of things, but I honestly don't see it coming, but it's a possibility. As for what I predict my opponent to bring, I'm predicting him to bring Jirachi. I'm seeing the Arcanine coming. I see the Mega Venusaur. I see Porygon 2 coming. I see potentially Greninja. My Azumarill can check it, but I still see Greninja being an issue, especially if like Toxic Spikes up. And lastly, I probably can see the Aromatisse just so it can wall my Mega Sableye. So yeah, Jirachi, Greninja, Arcanine, Aromatisse, Mega Venusaur, and potentially Porygon 2. Staraptor could potentially come to like a double choice spark set, so I have to keep that in mind in the back. But that's just my predictions. We'll see what happens when the battle commences. So I'm just going to break down my team of 6 and why I'm bringing it. First Pokemon you see here is Rhinestones, my Mega Sableye, with Will-O-Wisp, Recover, Knockoff, and Shadow Sneak. This is basically going to be my utility. My utility is Mega Sableye set. Going to be crippling things with Will-O-Wisp, except for the Arcanine who brings Flash Fire. Knockoff potential Choice Scarf from the Jirachi or Staraptor. Potential Life Orb, stuff like that. Shadow Sneak is there for the priority. Pick off weakened Mons, like a weakened Jirachi, things like that. EV Spread gives me good solid mixed defenses. Max HP. Max HP gives me gives Sableye that needed bulk. 76 EVs in defense ensures that Mega Sableye is not 3-hit KO'd by a Choice Scarf Jirachi's Iron Head. So I can really knock off and potentially check it a lot better, though I have to be wary if he does bring like Play Rough, which can potentially 2-hit KO my Mega Sableye. And the rest is just put in special defense, so it can take special attacks better from like the Mega Venusaur or the potentials of Striker. Greninja might be an issue, but this is basically just going to be my mind in terms of trying to come in, cripple things with a Will-O-Wisp, cripple stuff with Knockoff, and then pick off stuff with Shadow Sneak. Nothing really fancy with this set, just trying to provide solid utility for the rest of my Mons. On to the second Pokemon I am bringing. I have Cell, the Ranunculus, rocking the Magic Guard Calm Mind set. Calm Mind recovers Side Shock and Shadow Ball. It hits a good portion of its team for at least neutral coverage, except for the Greninja. I understand that, so I have to be very careful of when I set up my Ranunculus, as it is basically going to be my win con in this matchup. But max HP, 244 defense with the bold nature maximized to physical bulk. 12 EVs in special attack ensures that Ranunculus' Side Shock 2-hit KOs offensive Mega Venusaur if he does bring that. So, like I said, this is going to be my win con. It can set up on a bunch of its Mons, likely Aromatisse. I could set up on Porygon 2 if he does bring it, as it can't really do much to me. I can recover, stall for a bit, and then try to get as much Calm Mind up as I can. And I really see Ranunculus putting in work after I weaken, or if he doesn't bring Greninja, then Ranunculus is going to have a very good time in this battle. So that's my Ranunculus. On to the third Pokemon you see here. We have Karisu, the Choice Scarf Garchomp, with Outrage, Earthquake, Stone Edge, and Iron Head. Running enough speed with a Jolly Nature to outspeed Choice Scarf, Jirachi, and Staraptor. So I can proceed to Earthquake the Jirachi. Stone Edge can potentially knock out the Staraptor. Iron Head's here for the Aromatisse, and Outrage is just to spam after I get rid of the potential Aromatisse or the Blade, whichever one's coming. I see Aromatisse coming more often. So this is just my way of revenge killing Greninja, revenge killing the Jirachi, Staraptor, things like that. And it makes for a very solid, very fast, solid Mon in general, simply because it could potentially do a number to his team depending on what he brings against me. If he's not like a defensive Arcanine set, then Earthquake has a chance to knock it out with a little bit of chip damage. So if Garchomp can't finish off weakened Mons, then either my Sableye or my Azumarill can. So it's not that big of an issue, but Garchomp can easily just wear down a bunch of its Mons with Choice Scarf. And solid Revenge Killer can't go wrong either way. Now, on to the fourth Pokemon, we have Bubbles, the Choice Banded Azumarill with Waterfall, Aqua Jet, Superpower, and Facade. I didn't put Play Rough on the set simply because I didn't want to be locked into Play Rough, and he has that Jirachi and the Doublade in the back. And nothing really on his team is weak to Fairy, other than Greninja, and Greninja gets 2-hit KO by Choice Band and Waterfall. So I mean, Play Rough hits the Zygarde, but that's about it. Hits the Zygarde harder, but Waterfall hits harder too. As long as it's not like a physically defensive set, so I have to be careful about that. Superpower is here for the Porygon 2, and Facade is here in case Azumarill does get burned or paralyzed. Running 2 max attack, his adamant nature, hit as hard as possible. 84 speed lets me outspeed uninvested Porygon 2. Hit it with a nice big waterfall, potential flinch chance, and the rest in HP just to give us some extra bulk. So this is going to be one of my main wall breakers in this battle, and I feel like Azumarill can put in a ton of work. Depending on what he brings, then Azumarill can do some very, very solid damage. Even to the point where I can weaken the Mega Venusaur. I did consider like a belly drum set, like Jolly Max Speed Azumarill with Double Edge, as +6 Double Edge does take out a Mega Venusaur, but then I'd be prone to all the other mons, which I didn't want to do, so I had to dial it back a bit. So, on to the 5th Pokemon here, we see Samson, the Swords Dance Toxic Orb Heracross with Guts, Swords Dance Close Combat Knockoff Facade. Not running any speed on this Heracross because most of the stuff it can try to outspeed, it can't. It can't outspeed the Arcanine if he's offensive. If he's not running any speed on Mega Venusaur, then Heracross outspeeds it regardless. If he's max speed Zygarde, it doesn't outspeed, so I figured the added bulk from would benefit Heracross a lot more in the long run. It gives it a nice bulky wall breaker to go alongside with Azumarill, really break down his mons, and a +2 facade, +2 Guts Facade will do a number to everything on his team except for the Blade, which I have knockoff for. Close combat hits pretty much everything else but the Azumarill, the Aromatisse, and the Mega Venusaur, which I have Facade for, and knockoff to triple items, remove Eviolite, stuff like that. Simple max HP, max attack spread, rest in defense. Like I said, uninvested base 85, I outspeed Mega Venusaur. Uninvested Mega Venusaur and everything below that, meaning I outspeed the Blade, I outspeed Porygon 2. I could have ran outspeed to outspeed like uninvested Arcanine, but didn't really want to, simply because if he's offensive Arcanine, Flare Blitz already takes me out, so I figured it's not really worth the effort. And finally, on to the last Pokemon, you see we have DJ Khalid, the Choice Specs Boom Burst Exploud. Only running Boom Burst and Sleep Talk, that's all I need. He doesn't have a normal resist. And Choice Specs Boom Burst hits everything it hits everything very, very hard. Even the Jirachi takes about 40% from a Specs max special attack Boom Burst. Sleep Talk is here, so I can switch on Mega Venusaur Sleep Powder. Then I can click Sleep Talk and get Boom Burst all over again, so it's not that big of a deal. I am running enough speed on my Exploud to outspeed uninvested Mega Venusaur. The rest is put into HP with max special attack in the Moss Nature. Hit as hard as possible. Like I said, I don't need anything else on Exploud other than Boom Burst, simply because his normal resist is non-existent, has Scrappy, Blade can't switch in. His only real chance is Porygon 2, but Porygon 2 gets 2 KO'd by Specs Boom Burst if it's not running a significant amount of special defense. I think it has to be like max special defense to avoid a 2 KO, or something close to that. So yeah, this is the team I am bringing versus Poke Primer and the Pittsburgh Popplios, and now I will be switching over to the battle, and we'll see what happens. And we are back, week 1 of the United Battling Association. The Maine Red Clawitzers up against Poke Primer, coach of the Pittsburgh Popplios. I pretty much predicted his team exactly. Yeah, he brings Mega Venusaur, Torrent Greninja, Aromatisse, Arcanine, Jirachi, and Porygon 2. From his team, his real normal resist is the Jirachi, so I really have no reason not to lead off with my X-Ball and just click Boom Burst, because it does significant damage to everything on his team, and I couldn't pass up giving him my X-Ball for free from turn 1. I could have led off with the Sableye, get off my Mega, but he could have predicted that and led with the Aromatisse, and I'd be in a bad spot. So, as we'll play the replay here, I lead off with my Exploud. As he ends up bleeding up with Porygon 2, traces my Scrappy, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to click Boom Burst turn 1. That's a 2-hit KO. He goes for the recovery just to gauge how much damage that does. He sees I'm Specs, so he switches out into his Jirachi to take the Boom Burst. Does 42%. I decide to stay in and Boom Burst again as he goes for Thunder Wave, so it confirms he's not Choice Scarf. I go for Boom Burst again, almost knocks it out. And here I go and I'm predicting Psychic type attack or Iron Head. I switch into my Mega Sableye. He goes for Heart Stand, trying to get the Para Flinch. I Mega Evolve, and he goes for Play Rough here, and I actually make a misplay with that because on this play, I really expected him to switch out to save the Jirachi, so I avoided going for Shadow Sneak this turn, and he got rewarded by staying in. He goes for the Play Rough, and he gets the crit. I knock out the Jirachi, but I let my Mega Sableye take significant damage. I should have expected Play Rough, but I really was expecting him to be a Scarf Jirachi, but as you see, it didn't really matter in the end. He got rewarded for the staying in. Then he's sacking off Jirachi one way or another. I really thought he would switch out to either his Arcanine or his Porygon 2, which is why I went for knockoff, which wasn't a bad play, but I completely forgot about Play Rough. So my Mega Sableye is essentially gone, as I can only sort of recover on the Porygon 2, depending on what his moveset is. I already saw Recover and Tri-Attack, and Tri-Attack is immune. Mega Sableye's immune to Tri-Attack. I don't know what his third or fourth move is, so I didn't want to risk it. So I knock off the Shuca Berry, so he predicted my he was ready for my Garchomp with to prevent it from being knocked out by my Earthquake. So I knock out the Jirachi, but I significantly pretty much lost my Mega Sableye in the process. So down goes the Jirachi, we're up 6-5. He goes out into his Aromatisse, and here I have to switch out. I could have sacked it off. I could have sacked off Mega Sableye and then went into my Exploud. But I decided to make an aggressive play into Exploud because I didn't think Moonblast would do that much. And then I see it takes over half. And then I'm thinking, holy crap, is this an offensive Aromatisse? I checked the damage calculator, it turns out he must be like a max special attack, max HP Aromatisse. Because if he was defensive, that would have done only like 35 to 40% to my Exploud. I'm like, okay, he's running max special attack. This sucks. So I decided to stay in and sack off the Exploud here, as I really didn't have any good fairy switch-ins other than the Ranunculus, which I send in now. He goes into a Greninja, and then I go for a Calm Mind, and then I realize I can't stay in on this whatsoever, fearing the Dark Pulse. So I decide this turn to sack off my Mega Sableye. He does go for the Dark Pulse, and then goes my Mega Sableye. Shows that he's life for Greninja. That's fine. I now go into my Azumarill, and then I'm thinking, okay, I could just go freely for a Waterfall here. It's a 2-hit KO. Greninja can't do anything back to me in general. And then I forget the most important thing of all. I forget that Greninja has access to Gunk Shot. I forget it runs Gunk Shot from OU, so it doesn't kill me. But nevertheless, I almost take out the Greninja this turn. I'm like, oh crap, I forgot about Gunk Shot Greninja. I thought you'd just be running a fully specially offensive with Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, and like either Toxic Spikes or Extra Sensory from my Amoonguss. Forget completely about Gunk Shot, so I'm trying to preserve my Azumarill here. So I'm going to make a switch into my Garchomp, predicting the Gunk Shot again. This time he goes for Scald. It's a 2-hit KO and he burns me. So I just wasted my Garchomp and my Azumarill at the same time. Nevertheless, even though I'm burned, I am able to kill the Greninja with the Earthquake, and Ranunculus can freely set up Calm Mind now. Ranunculus can essentially win depending on the rest of his team. I just go for Earthquake for damage, and he reveals he's Calm Mind Aromatisse. So now I'm going to be doing some Calm Mind wars between Ranunculus and Aromatisse, which absolutely sucks. Goes for the Moonblast. It's a 2-hit KO. I go for Calm Mind here. Get some leftovers recovery, and now I know it's that the next Moonblast can potentially knock out Ranunculus. I have no choice but to recover this turn, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that Moonblast does not knock out my Ranunculus, because if I can't knock out a Ranunculus, I essentially lose. If my Ranunculus gets knocked out, I lose. 2 Aromates. So, the next Moonblast comes, lives on 4%. I'm so thankful that I get the recover off. So now he can't beat me now without getting a crit. So he decides to make a weird. He makes a switch into Mega Venusaur. So I go for recover. Now I'm back at full HP. Now he goes for the Mega Evolution. I don't know what he's gonna do. He goes for Sleep Power. Unfortunately, he misses the first one. I get up another Calm Mind here simply because I needed to. I knew I could beat the Venusaur 1v1. He gets the Sleep Power off again on my Ranunculus, so I burn turn to sleep. I have no reason to switch out. He decides to go back out into his Aromates. I'm still asleep. So now now the Calm Mind wars start back up again. He goes for the Calm Mind, trying to keep up with me. My Ranunculus. I finally wake up. I go for the Side Shock. That's a 2-hit KO. So now he's either forced to Wish or Moonblast for damage. And then suddenly I win the speed tie. And I'm like, wait a minute. Ranunculus is relatively faster than Aromates. Ranunculus is base 30 speed, Aromates is base 29. So that means he was running 8 speed Aromates, which speed ties with my Ranunculus. So this whole time, I'm wondering why his Aromates is faster than my uninvested Ranunculus. He must have sped crept, but he probably didn't speed creep for uninvested. He probably just speed tied by accident. So I fortunately win the speed tie, take it out with a Side Shock, and one of the main threats to my team was gone in the Calm Mind Aromates. So once I get rid of Porygon 2, Ranunculus actually wins. So in comes the Porygon 2, traces my Magic Guard, which is fine. He's just going to fire a Tri-Attacks for damage, and he sees he's doing absolutely nothing. I can really just Calm Mind to +6 on this Porygon 2 all day. And this essentially wins. So he's just trying to do anything. He's just trying to get something off. He gets the freeze from the Tri-Attack. I'm like, oh crap, not this. Anything but this. So I was just constantly going for a Tri-Attack here, hoping to get a critical hit somewhere. Or hopes that I stay frozen for God knows how long it takes for him to thaw out. I finally thaw out after 3 turns. Go for Side Shock. It does about 48%. I need to get a more Calm Mind as he goes for the recover. I know he's going to recover. I'm going to Calm Mind again. Now I'm at +4. And just trying to 2-hit KO this thing. I knew if I got rid of the Eviolite, I'd be in a whole lot better shape than I was right now. So I'm just constantly just trying to get out Calm Minds because I need this thing severely weakened. And he gets the crit, and I finally get to +6. So now this thing cannot touch me whatsoever without another critical hit. So I'm just going to try to recover this turn, or as he gets to paralyze the para on the Tri-Attack this time, better than being frozen. I prefer to be burned, but that's fine. So now I'm back at full HP. He's now just struggling to stay in. I go for Side Shock. Does 63%. He can't recover. My Side Shock does more damage than the amount of damage he recovers. He gets fully paralyzed this turn. My Noodles get fully paralyzed. He goes for the Tri-Attack again. I break through the paralysis. I go for the Side Shock. I get the critical hit. And that essentially is game. Arcanine cannot do anything to me unless he crits me with Flare Blitz. And Venusaur is essentially walled unless he's running physical Mega Venusaur. So you see Flare Blitz does absolutely nothing to my Ridiculous. Break through the paralysis. Down goes the Arcanine. And his last Pokemon is Mega Venusaur. And Venusaur literally cannot do much to me. Sludge Bomb is doing absolutely nothing. Break through the para. Go for the Side Shock. Down goes Mega Venusaur, and that is going to be a good game. So Ranunculus comes through in the clutch, picking up 4 kills in this battle. Mega Sableye gets a kill, and Garchomp gets a kill as well. We pick up a 3-0 win over the Pittsburgh Popplios, with Ranunculus putting in the absolute finest of work in the battle. Props to Poke Primer for bringing a great team. He probably could have brought something more for the Ranunculus, because once I got rid of that Greninja, Ranunculus had a field day with his team. And he also sacked off its Jirachi too, which was another thing that could have potentially kept my Ranunculus in check with flinches and whatnot. But I have Shadow Ball in the back for the Jirachi just in case, so I will take this win. A great start, as a solid start to the UBA. Once again, it was a good game, and I really had to work for this win because I really wish I had knocked off the Eviolite. I could have saved Mega Sableye a lot. I could have played Mega Sableye a lot better. This is actually my first time ever using Mega Sableye at all, whether it be draft league format or in OU, other OU battles and stuff like that. So really have to make sure that in future battles I know how to properly manage on Mega Sableye's utility and what it can do for my team. So the Nucleus bailed me out for sure because I almost lost to Aromatisse, which would have been very, very bad. But nevertheless, we take the win. Next week we play the New York Pokemon Rangers, so that's another interesting battle to look forward to. Another division match, so something to look forward to in future battles. So if you enjoyed this battle, feel free to hit that like button if you did. If you really enjoyed the content, feel free to hit that subscribe button because there's going to be plenty more league battles to come, whether it be here in the UBA, whether it be in the NES, the APA, and in the IBL. So keep an eye out for those battles. And I'm going to get the heck out of here. Until next time, my name is Anthony, aka Tone114, and I'm going to catch you guys on the flip side. Later!